You ever just watch those films where you swear to God that you're becoming dumber because of it? Yeah, that's this movie. Hello and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of the Green Inferno. Oh God, this one was pretty bad. I'm not. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. This was directed by Eli Roth. You might recognize that name if you're a fan of exploitation films at all. He's the same guy that did all the Hostel movies, Cabin Fever, and other films. Okay, let me put it like this. Before we proceed, I don't mind exploitative films. I don't. You know, Mad Max is kind of an exploitative film. In fact, they're all exploitative to a degree. I rather enjoyed some of the Saws. I own 3 of them. The first 3, if you're wondering. And, I can take it. When it's written well, when it's shown well, I can take exploitation. That's not this movie, by the way. I could even argue that maybe of all of the movies I've seen of Eli Roth, the only one I think is actually kind of good is the first part of Hostel. Second one was just tacked on with pointlessness. So I have an experience with exploitative horror and gore fests like this. I have experience with it. And I understand that's not everyone's taste. I completely 100% understand if you don't want to watch this particular review. Especially if you don't even want to go see this movie. And which I would actually recommend that you don't see this movie. So, yeah, so with all that said, let's actually talk about why this movie wasn't very good. So, let's go into the few good things, because there were some actual moments of suspense and terror. And oddly enough, it's when the film started taking itself less seriously than it was trying to. The overall problem with it is a sense of, you're doing this way too seriously, man. And there's actual moments of comedy put in, but I'll get to those in a second. But there's actually some good tension-filled moments with some of these characters when the blade is slowly coming down. Oddly enough, when less was happening, when it's less gory and more just implied, I found the movie to be a lot more entertaining. There's one point where a guy is tied up on a post and he's getting his bones systematically broken. That was a lot scarier to me. It wasn't very gory. I mean, hell, probably the only thing that was gory about that was the CGI ants they added later, but that was just so freaking stupid. But the guy's just screaming in pain every time the guy hits him. And then some people come over and they start rubbing stuff all over him. You just hear the little sound effects of the bones. And he's that was actually legitimately kind of scary and off-putting. There's a few moments a lot like that scene inside of this film that are legitimately, yeah. This is the kind of exploitative horror that I'm more akin to. Yeah, he's doing something graphic on screen, but you know what he's doing also? He's creating tension. The rest of it, not so much, yeah. Other than that, and maybe the likability of the said guy who is tied to a post, getting his bones broken, and the main character chick played by Lorenzo Izzo. I think I pronounced that right. I looked up the name just barely. I might have even said that wrong, but Lorenzo Izzo, whatever. I'll put the name down here if I completely fucked it up. But yeah, she was really likable inside of this. Really too ditzy for her own damn good, but she was acted well, especially in the later half of the film after shit gets real. The beginning, not so much. But, yeah, so what is the plot of this movie? Essentially, here's the plot. The stuff that matters in this plot. Because the plot is overblown with a bunch of shit you don't need to know. An activist girl, or a girl in college inside of South America, didn't really specify where if I remember right, they she gets in league with an activist group, and during one of their activist runs, the plane breaks down. They crash in the Amazon. They're found by one of those many tribes out there, ancient cultures, and of course, they just happen to be cannibals. There's the plot of the movie. Survive long enough to be rescued and get away from the cannibals. That is the entire plot of this movie that matters. What doesn't matter? Their activist stuff that the event I was speaking they were coming from when the plane crashes. Yeah, that has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. It tried to add in some commentary, but I found myself and even other people in the theater laughing at some of these parts. They're supposed to be taken seriously, mind you. This movie is supposed to be 100% serious. I don't want to undersell this. This is a gory movie. They, right off the bat, one of the guys, after they all get taken by these cannibals, has the tribe leader. Okay, I'll get to the tribe in a second, but she comes in and she starts gouging out his eyes and eating them, and then she cuts off his tongue, and then they have her manservant, who's painted black for some reason, come over and yak off each of his limbs one at a time. He's spouting blood everywhere. Then they yak off his head. They put it on a post, if I remember right, and then they take the body and they put it in a makeshift oven and cook it and then start distributing the meat to everybody in the village. I don't want to undersell the gore inside of this. There's a lot of gore, and it doesn't pull its punches with some of this. Some of these practical effects look pretty damn bad. Seriously saw one, which was a glorified college flick, looked better than this. But I will give credit where credit is due, and some of the sequences like this are very off-putting, as I said, and definitely graphic. He doesn't take himself seriously throughout the whole film, though. Or should I say too seriously, especially with some of the stuff that happens in this film. So let's just start from the beginning and get these all out in fast order as fast as I can. So the movie starts with this girl at her college getting woken up to a activist rally trying to get health care for the janitors. You know, the people who are all fighting for people who really don't give a shit about what's going on. Yay, the janitors got health care! They probably just got a dog to pay for it though, but we got them health care! Woo! Seriously, janitors aren't involved. They made that pretty clear. So this girl wants to be more active. She wants to be somebody. She's also the daughter of a diplomat who works for the American Embassy. Just keep that in mind. He's a glorified lawyer. But she ends up getting invited into the group, and she goes with him. And although there's bumpy edges, yeah, the leader of the group is a dick before and after. Yet she's somehow attracted to him beforehand. Girls, I guess you love your bad boys. But yeah, she ends up going with him, and she makes friends with the rest of the group. She likes all of them. In fact, I'd even go as far as to say, with the exception of the douchebag leader and his douchebag girlfriend / wife. I'm pretty sure it was a girlfriend, but it could have been wife. With the exception of those two, everybody else on this expedition are really damn likable. I mean, really goddamn likable. It's almost the same to see them go most of the time. Most of the time, they kind of get annoying. Some of them get annoying with their one notes, but it's what are you gonna do? So they go through this to stop a bunch of bulldozers from bulldozing a section of the Amazon that's gonna destroy this one ancient tribe that we've only caught glimpses of in satellite reads. Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on that too. How would you know if they've caught glimpses of these people? Has anyone actually gone out and talked to these people? Has anyone, I don't know, tried to make contact? With most ancient civilizations, we try to let them know that we're here and try to stay out of their way at the same time. We say, hey, you're not the center of the universe. Just want to let you know, I'm going to study your civilization for a little while. Having fun? No, we only caught a glimpse of them with satellite photos. There's a lot of plot convenience with satellite photos. But yeah, they all break into this bulldozing yard. What do? They chain themselves up to trees and bolt some of the work equipment and hack into the satellite feed Viva antenna that these workers had set up so that they can stream exactly this illegal work all over the world. Little doesn't know, the main character girl, who's the diplomat, yeah, she was only let into the group so she could be a patsy. So that when everyone else got their stuff chained up like they're supposed to, they gave her a dummy lock that wouldn't lock. So the guards instantly pull her down and put a gun to her head. This was his plan the entire time. It's not enough that they're doing illegal work to get this thing really trending. When they threaten the daughter of someone who works at the American Embassy, oh yeah, that's when you get America involved. You just done fucked with America. America, fuck yeah, da 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 da. I don't know the words of the song. I just know that part. But yeah, that was the plan. Needless to say, she's pretty pissed off about this. She hates all of them now. No, she's mad at all of them, but the only one she hates is the leader, who brought her in false pretenses. And as I said, this entire opening section is about 30 minutes of the movie. Yeah, 30 minutes of this movie is entirely pointless, because the only thing you need is to have the plane crash in the wilderness and have them taken by these natives. That's it. That is the only thing about this that you need. The rest of this opening, it's completely pointless. Oh, it gets you in the mindset of some of these people. Yeah, you want to know what the mindset is after they get captured? We're gonna fucking die. Let's try to run away. So, yeah. They all get captured. Well, about half of them die in the plane crash. Probably a little bit less than half, but more than a few die in the plane crash. One guy even walks right into the propeller because I guess he had a concussion. But we just needed gore. I'm guessing that was the need of it. So, yeah, they all start reeling when all these guys come in with tranq darts and spears, but only one person gets speared, and it's for comedy. Comedy. This is when you should start building tension and start showcasing how scared everyone is. One of the ladies, the girlfriend of the main guy, of the leader of this expedition, thinks that she sees someone out there. Hey, I think there's someone here. I think there's help. And she starts walking to him. And they somehow threw a freaking spear about circular that thick, perfectly, through her neck. And it lodges in there. And mind you, they're about 50, 60 yards away. I mean, they just hurled that thing through trees and heavy bush that you could barely make out one or two of the guys running way down there. They threw that and somehow got a perfect through the neck. Again, she was almost as unlikable as her boyfriend. So, most people in my theater were cheering for her death. She didn't die, mind you. As everyone else starts getting darted with tranquilizers, why they tranked everyone else but then killed her kind of consistent much? No? Just saying? No, it's an ancient civilization that doesn't speak any known language, so we don't have to explain anything about their culture. Yet we try to do that with a freaking jaguar that has nothing to do with anything that comes in the last part of the film, but we'll get there. So, everyone else is getting tranked. The douchebag guy's like trying to get the spear out without killing her and making her bleed to death. We're gonna save you! We're gonna save you! We're gonna save you! And then another spear out of nowhere comes and smacks the girl middle of the head while she's on the ground, again, thrown from hella far back. A perfect shot. 2 perfect shots. It's okay. We're gonna save you. We're gonna save you. I was not the only one in my theater laughing at this. We should not be laughing. We should be scared shitless. You seeing the problem with this movie yet? No? Let's get into when they actually get into the camp. The aforementioned guy getting yacked off, that's basically what happens at the first. Everyone else is kind of inspected and then thrown into a cell while he's just yacked and cooked and everyone's freaking out. I'll admit, that part is kind of good. It becomes quite clear when they switch for the prosthetics and the fact the guy's not really there. Come on. It doesn't look as real as you think it is, especially when they start yakking off his legs. It's okay on his arms and when they're gouging out his eyeballs, but once you get to the legs, you can see the dummy that they built for this. It's, as I said, the props in this, some really did work. Most look like something you saw inside of Saw or the Blair Witch Project. This is a professional, right? Eli Roth has made successful exploitation horror before, right? So yeah, going on. After that, everyone basically just starts being picked off for whatever reason. Some of them, if I remember right, they try to get out. Others just get chosen to die for whatever reason, and they start doing weird shit to them. Like, they go over the female mutilation that generally happens inside of cultures like this, especially the ones in Africa. They make a point and reference on the ones in Africa. And, of course, the main character chick is a virgin. Therefore, she needs to have her genitalia yacked off, unlike the other 2 girls inside of the cage. Because I guess they just wanted to see her naked, which we don't actually get until the very end of the movie. You'd think that inside of an exploitation film, that's when we would see it the most. Hell, the natives, all of the ancient civilizations that are basically known for walking around with very minimalistic clothing, yeah, only one of them is actually naked. And that's at the very end of the movie. Again, I don't get it. But yeah, they start coming up with plans to try to escape, like distracting them with their cell phone that doesn't work inside of the middle of the Amazon, but they can turn on an alarm and call it good. That gives an opening for one girl to run away. She doesn't get away, and later they find out that they're actually fed pieces of her to keep their energy up, which springs her girlfriend to slit her throat, which is one of the better parts of this movie. I'm not going to lie. That's when the prosthetics and things actually kind of work. Oh, throughout all of this, though, douchebag leader reveals, guess what? They didn't stop the bulldozers. He was actually hired by a rival company just to get that company thrown off, so that they can clear cut the Amazon forest. Because there are no heroes. The good guys and bad guys, they're all just one and the same. It's conspiracies. Oh my god. Anti-business war sentiment. I'm sorry. I hate these messages. For 2 reasons. 1, they're overdone as fuck. How am I supposed to enjoy a movie when I can think of better movies, even better exploitative films that have done this aspect before? I own a couple. I'll go watch them. I'll save myself $10 and not go to a theater. It'll be cleaner too. Second, they're always half-assed and lazy. This is exactly what ruined Tomorrowland. The last third of the movie was completely butt-fucked by this type of shit. And you're just gonna throw it in there to make douchebag look even more douchey? He lied to all of us. We're all dying for no reason. Bring on the hopeless. Woo! It's not like we're in a village of cannibals! Ugh. And he keeps doing shit the entire time that no thinking human being would ever do in this situation. I get taking a cynical approach. I'm not going to act like a jackass when the fat guy died first. But I'm probably the type of guy who will say, it's sick for me to say, but we're probably lucky that he did die first. He probably raised our chances of actually having enough time to get out of here. Yeah. It's cynical, it's stupid, and I probably get a lot of shit for it, but you know what? All I'm thinking about is getting out of that cage and getting away from these people. So, honestly, I'm going to take what I can get. Because the situation's already hopeless enough. We don't need douchebag McDouchebag talking about how stupid business crap that has nothing to do with anything. This whole activist angle you didn't even need. You could just say that these guys were on a trip, on a private charter to take them over the Amazon and their plane crashed. That would have saved you 20 minutes. 20, 30 minutes at the beginning of the movie. That's all you needed to do. And even better, douchebag McDouchey picnic bag starts masturbating in his cell. Masturbating in his cell. Understandably, everybody else inside the cell is actually pretty fucking pissed off about this. That he's calling him a sick fuck. The movie does my job for me. I can't make fun of it because it's making fun of itself. I'll explain that in the next death scene. That's just completely fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. But, yeah. So, he starts jerking off. In these moments, we need release. You have to find some way of releasing everything so you can think straight. And the likable guy who ends up getting systematically broken at the end, he does what I would have done. He tries to choke the motherfucker and kill him. Because at this point, he's being nothing but a burden. The guy keeps trying to jerk off even more because I guess choking makes you come harder. If I'm erotic suffocation. Maybe I heard something like that on CSI. I don't know. But that's just... And again, people in my theater were laughing. This was supposed to be a horror film, right? And I think someone might say it's completely hypocritical for me to say that, considering all the praise I gave The Visit about being a comedy horror. The difference being, the comedy inside of The Visit emphasized the horror at the end. Things that you were laughing at the beginning of the film, you were batshit fucking terrified by the end of it. Because those same things, seen in a different context, are scary as fuck. In this movie, though, none of this actually comes back to bite them. You don't see a comment or something made in the beginning of the film come back and bring a new context to the cannibalistic deaths that we're about to see. It doesn't. It's poor writing. It's poor writing. I'm sorry. The douchebag leader, whose name I purposely am forgetting, he does jack shit that a normal human being would in this situation. So, yeah. Now that I'm done with the rant on him, for now, let's go to the death that I was talking about, which is by far the stupidest thing someone has ever consciously come up with in their lives. I'm dead serious here, people. I am not making this shit up. I want you to know, this is actually in the movie. Eli Roth and his screenwriter thought this was a good idea. They penned it and gave it to their actors. So the girl that slit her throat, She's going to be taken by the tribe next, and they're going to feed her like they did the fat guy. Which you'd think they'd still have a lot of meat left after him, but who knows? Maybe they had the munchies. So, what do? Well, one of the guys, he got this really sick killer weed from the guy in charge of the plane who ended up dying in the crash. And he said, be sure to lose that before we hit customs. It's like, okay. And he puts it inside of his shoe. Well, they decide to use the weed. A bag of weed that's probably about yay big. About yay big. Give you context. It's about that big. And even if it's the best shit on earth, they take the weed and they shove it down the dead girl's throat. And so it's in her stomach. So when they cook their body, the main part of the body inside of the oven, and people start eating her, they start getting high as fuck. They start going crazy. And they start doing all this. I'm sorry. Unless you literally stuffed her with weed, and I mean stuffed her, like you'd have to fill my entire body up full of weed. You'd have to get that much weed to actually stone this fucking village. And again, laughter in the theater by the way. Lots of laughter. I went and saw this. The people in the theater, they were all those bros looking for something gory and disgusting. Ooh, yeah, man. So that much weed somehow stones the entire fucking village. They're going off their rocker. People are falling over. They're laughing. They're passing out. Oh, they're having a grand old time. Which is the perfect time to escape, right? At this point, there's only 4 left. Douchebag, the guy with the weed, the likable guy who gets his stuff broken at the end, and the main character girl. Only 4 left. And using this opportunity, while everyone's too enabled to actually try to follow them, they all start climbing out of the top of the cage where there's a hole big enough for them to crawl through. So, main character girl and the likable guy come out first. They reach down for the weed guy and start pulling him up when suddenly douchebag McLeader douche grabs a tranq dart that they'd shot at them earlier that was stuck in one of the poles and jabs it into the weed guy, knocking him out. Why did he do this? Because he had no intention of running with everyone else. And when all of them come to, he's going to need somebody for them to eat instead of him. The fucking kind of sense does that make? They actually got a chance to get everybody the fuck out of there. Everyone that's still alive. All they have to do is head downriver towards construction. That's all they fucking have to do. Nope. The guy thinks that he's better off to stay inside of his cage with the cannibals. And he knocked out the guy who came up with this plan that's, stupid as fuck, but it's actually working. And he just leaves him there, so, yeah. They end up just leaving him because they can't get down there for dead weight. He'll just stab him with the freaking tranq dart and knock more people out. So the other 2 run off, trying to go as fast as they can. Meanwhile, the weed guy wakes up. He's outside the cage, covered with people. And he realizes, oh, they're still high. He starts trying to do little tricks like the pull the finger off and the to try to distract them. Yeah. They instantly start like grabbing his hands and trying to bite stuff off, and he's like fighting back and like, oh no! They have the munchies! Ah! And he proceeds to get eaten alive by everybody. As it was pointed out to me, now we know why it's called the Green Inferno, right? He actually does say that when he's about to die. They got the munchies! Ah! Everybody in the fucking theater, including me, was laughing! Laughing! I'm sorry, I should not be laughing as a guy's getting eaten to death! And they're really graphic with that one, too. Like, one guy manages to get his arm, you see all the tendons being ripped out. He's like trying to run away as everyone just swarms over him and eats him. And then they get the stupidest of fucking additions there that just ruins even his death scene as he's getting eaten, blood everywhere. Some little girl forces her way out of the pack and she's got his leg up to his shin and she's running away with it. Fuck you. Fuck you, film. I do mean this one. Because, let me just explain this. Do you really think that these cannibals would be able to eat through the 3 bones located in your leg? I know people who can't even bite a fucking chicken bone in half. On their little hot wings. You're telling me that these people had strong enough teeth? A primitive society with no form of dental care had strong enough teeth to bite off this leg. No, they did not. Because this leg wasn't bitten off. It was cut off. But no, wait, they're all high at the moment with munchies. They're all just eating him. Yet this leg has a perfectly cleaned off top. No bones sticking out, no fragments overhead. It's perfectly cut. It was put in there for comical effect. Comical effect. You need to pick the genre that you're trying to do. Are you trying to do suspense, gore, horror? What are you doing, Mr. Roth? What were you doing with this film? I can tell you, jack fucking shit. There's really nothing else to say about this except for the very end of the film. So, as I said, they end up getting captured again. The 2 escape. They end up getting captured again. And guy gets systematically broken. And they completely fucked his death over by covering him in shit, which attracts ants. If they'd actually used real ants for this part, I probably would have given them points off. Yeah, just... You can do it with CGI these days and a green screen. Even outside. All you have to do is, put it around his head and then just put a dummy there. That would have worked just fine as the ants come and eat him. It's perfectly fine. Real ants actually chewing on this carcass, even if it's a fake one, it probably would have looked better than the CGI pieces of shit that you put all over him. I mean, seriously, I was getting flashbacks of the Wicker Man. Not the bees! Or in this case, not the ants! Oh God, they're in my eyes! Not the ants! Ah! Ah! Completely ruining his death as well. The girl's about to go through the mutilation when everyone gets distracted because the bulldozers start moving and the people are trying to have to defend their lands against the evil invaders, and they all just rush off. In that time, a little boy that was befriended by the main character chick because she had a freaking necklace that she could whistle a couple of notes on, he comes over and cuts her free. They end up running, and she gets away. She makes it all the way down to the bulldozer people, and they end up taking her to the embassy. That's stupid enough. There's a CGI. She only gets away because she apparently passes their god, which is the jaguar. It was like a throwaway line thrown in the first 15 minutes of the film. that most of the cultures believe the jaguar to be their gods. This is a good omen. She ends up running past one, and he's just like sitting right on the riverbank, and she's got to cross the river. Does she go back, or does she go forward? The jaguar actually lets her go forward, and people see that as, she is the chosen! Oh! And they let her go. But she makes it all the way there. And this is the part that just completely undermines everything this movie had earned. The respect that it gotten from me for the actual good moments of tension, when they actually did utilize the concept correctly and things were done right. All of the good things that were still overshadowed by the bad, but I was going to give it a skip it rating at best. This last part's the part that is giving me a fuck it. This movie gets a fuck it because of this last part. You want to know what happens? She has to go before the council everywhere, the freaking Peruvian council, and explain to them what happened. Now, she could explain to them the truth. But she doesn't. You want to know what she does? She lies her ass off. She explains that after they did their activist thing, their plane broke down and crashed. Everyone instantly realized that they were lost. So they took them in and protected them until the bulldozers arrived. And they tried to give the people back, but the bulldozers and the evil company used their privately hired mercenary guards to start killing them. And she's the only one that survived. Fuck. What? I'm sorry. You just had to spend 3 agonizing days watching your friends get eaten alive. You dumb fucking bitch. And you didn't want to tell them the truth? If you wanted to stick it to the freaking bulldozer company to give your stupid commentary, Mr. Roth, some actual weight, you could have just told the fucking truth. What's the fucking truth in this case? Oh, well that's very, very simple. Our political rally was a stunt. It was a stunt. We didn't know it was a stunt until the plane, after we had crashed, they revealed it to us while we were sitting in the cage as people started getting eaten alive by these cannibals. Now, I would say you should probably kill the cannibals. Just saying, they're not going to be domesticated. They think it's all enemies, and they're probably going to just keep eating anybody who gets lost in the forest. I mean, you should probably do something about that. But you should probably tell that company that saves my ass that there is much on the line here, because they're the ones that sabotaged the plane, which caused us to crash, so that they could kill the guy who actually funded the operation. Again, revealed. You can just tell the fucking truth. Even if they don't believe you, you'll have opened an investigation, and they would have seen a lot of convenient things. Enough for anybody with a fucking brain to say, hey, she's probably telling the truth. We can't find any hard evidence because they cleaned up the tracks, but we can tell them to get the fuck out of our country. No. Let's defend the man-eaters. Let's defend the people who literally just fed you pieces of your friend so that they can keep you alive long enough so that they can cook you because you met one little boy who was fascinated by your awesome ability to play a whistle. This movie, right then, is when I decided to give this a fuck it. Because that is not only stupid, it's insulting to not just the intelligence of the characters on screen, but the intelligence of everybody who paid fucking money to see this piece of shit. Mr. Roth, if you'd like to make more politically active exploitative films, by all means. Please hire a writer who can actually write, and maybe even just produce it and have a director who can actually direct. Somebody who can read the script and say, this is fucking stupid. No human being would ever act like this. If you didn't want them to destroy the village at the very end, have her be traumatized to the point where she can't talk about it. That would have been enough. It would have left it a little open-ended. The what if. But no. No, you'd actually have her lie to everybody. Her dad, her best friend inside of her dorm, and her boyfriend. To the fucking school. To the fucking government. To save a couple of fucking cannibals. And, you know, if you just wanted to save the kid, you left him your necklace. All you have to say is, hey, when you go to kill everybody inside of that village, there's one little boy who has a necklace on of a flute. Don't shoot him. You can kill everyone else. But that boy, he actually cared. But no. I'm sorry. This was a bad exploitation film. A really fucking bad exploitation film. It felt like it was made with a budget of about $20,000, and $19,000 of that went into the freaking props they used when they were like chopping the guy's limbs off. Everything else is cliched, stupid, pointless, and insulting. Do not watch this film. Oh, and by the way, for those who might look up this movie, The Green Inferno, for some reason IMDb had it listed coming out in 2013, even though everywhere else has it listed as 2015. I don't know if that's like a limited release sort of thing, or it took that long to get past the MPAA stuff. I don't know. But you know what? It also had a list of awards that it apparently had won also, including Best Cinematography. Bullshit! Because they used stock footage of a helicopter flying in circles with the camera dangling on a rope. Want to know how I know this? Because the camera would sway as they made their turns. And if you have ever taken a science class, you know what that sway is. He was too lazy to hire somebody to hold a fucking camera inside of a helicopter, so they got nice, good transition, sweeping shots. So fucking bullshit on the cinematography. Best gore. I point you to my aforementioned rant about how some of these props looked fake as shit. And the one that was most annoying, from Bloodlust, or Bloodfest, I think it was called, Best Horror Film. And it won that one. To every single one of you guys that voted for it, fuck you. I have nothing more to say on this one. Don't see it. Don't waste your money. Go buy Saw. The first 3 films are actually quite good. Although I will admit the third one is where it started seriously dropping in quality. So, yeah. If you're looking for good exploitation, go take that. And that's all for me. Did you enjoy the video? I hope to God that you did not see Green Inferno or have no plans to go see Green Inferno, so I'm not going to ask that question. What is your favorite exploitative horror film? Leave a comment in the comments below, and maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going, and maybe I'll have seen them, I'll have an opinion, I don't know. But yeah, if you want to see some more of my videos, I will have them linked inside of annotations down here. If you want to check out my channel or check out the playlist of all the videos I've ever reviewed, I will have those up here. And yeah, I guess I'll have to see you all next time.